Interestingly, Layla never made the charts when it was first released in 1970, but it was re-released a couple of years later when it went up to number 7. Since then, it's frequently made it onto those lists of the all-time great guitar tunes. Personally, I think it's a really great song. Listening to the original, it's worth bearing in mind that much of the sound comes from the slide guitar playing of Duane Allman, and that's mixed very tightly to Eric Clapton's lead guitar. This means that getting the exact same sound as the record isn't really an option. You can still do the song justice though if you set your guitar up as follows. First, make sure you select the bridge pickup, get the sort of most treble sounds you can. Then simply crank everything up, tone on full, volume on full. Then on your amp, you're pretty much aiming to get as much sort of overdrive as you can, as much sustain as you can. Start by turning your master volume down. That's the last volume control from the input, whatever these things are called, because they're called different things on different amps. Turn the output one right the way down, then you can safely crank the others up. Some amps you want to crank them all the way up, others, you know, 9 out of 10 or whatever. Pretty much treble, middle, bass, all cranked up to around about 8, 9 or 10. Presence, I'm not even sure what that is. Reverb, yeah, a little bit of reverb, not too much. I've got it set on about 3 there. And then what you do, you just play a couple of notes on your guitar and gently, because this is like a loaded bomb now, gently turn the output volume up. Notice that it hasn't even got the 1 yet, because there's so much input volume going on here. That's a little bit over the top, take off a bit of the bass. That's about it. Now, if all that sounded a bit too technical, don't worry about it. We've got a whole lesson elsewhere on this site on how to play the amplifier, and that'll go into all that in more detail. For now, do whatever it takes to get some distortion out of your amp, and we'll run with that. Okay, so here's the tab for the first part of the intro. This bit is kind of like an intro to the intro. This has got 2 parts really, the fast opening line followed by the power chords. Here's how to do the fast bit. So that's the open A string, then played at the 3rd fret, open D string, then that played at the 3rd fret, back to open, back to the 3rd fret on the A string, back to the open D. Now, you've got 2 choices how to play this, because this has to be played at around about this speed. If you're really clever, you can try picking every single note. Notice that I'm producing 7 separate notes with 7 pick strikes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Notice also that I'm being very careful to demonstrate that at slow speed and not at the fast speed. Trying to do it at fast speed, that becomes pretty difficult. So a lot of the time, I've got to be honest, I tend to cheat with this. And the cheat is to use hammer-ons. So I play the first note as a hammer-on, as a pick note, then hammer-on. Then I pick the D string, hammer on, pull off, and then hammer on back onto the A string without even picking it, and then pick the D string again. So now I'm producing 7 notes with just 3 pick movements. Good cheat, huh? Just show you the left hand view of that. So here we are, starting on the A string, hammer on, then pick the D string and hammer on and pull off at the same time, and then hammer on to the A string with this much distortion. You don't need to pick it, and then you're just left to pick the D string. Much easier than trying to go picking all 7 notes. If you practice that using the cheating method, that will at least help you get up to speed, and it will get your left hand moving fast enough, and at a later stage you can always convert to picking every note if you want to get it exactly right. Okay, so here's the next bit, the power chord part. So this starts with a power chord played from the 5th string at the 5th fret with your 1st finger and your 3rd finger taking care of the note above it there on the 4th string at the 7th fret. So just play those 2 strings. Then we come down 2 frets with the same shape, then down another 2 frets. So that's. Then there's a single note as a sort of link note, and that's an open A. Then we're back to this power chord, the B flat power chord. Back to the C at the 3rd fret. So that's. Then the little link note again on the open A, and then the 3rd fret power chord to the 5th fret. Sort of a circle, really. This is quite a tricky part of the song, making the transition from the fast bit to the chords is one of the hardest parts of mastering this. And what I'm going to suggest is that initially you play each part separately and either get somebody else to play the opposite part or just kind of hum that part or sing that part. So you do something like this. Da 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 da, or the other way round. Diddly diddly diddly. Diddly diddly diddly. See, I'm immediately going out of time on that. Diddly diddly diddly. Diddly diddly diddly. So once you got used to practicing each separate part like that, then slow it down and try and get the whole thing into time, but at a slow speed, and that'll be something like this. And gradually keep that in good time and gradually build up the speed. Now to the main part of the intro. This has 4 different but fairly similar lines to learn. So here's the tab for the first line. So we start on the B string at the 10th fret with our first finger, and we use the pinky to play the note on that same string at the 13th fret, then 10th fret on the top string, pinky again, 13th fret on the top string, back to the first finger, back to the pinky, back to the first finger. So it's the same as our opening line really, but a couple of octaves higher. using alternate picking of the right hand to get the speed. And again, you do have the option of using the cheat if you want to. You can guess which one I use. Okay, now here's the second part. So the next part, we're in the same position. I've got my pinky at the 13th fret on the first string. I'm going to give that a bend to take it up to that note there, so it's a whole tone bend. You can test that. If you play that note, then bend that up till it sounds like that. So we bend it up, then we bring it back to neutral to get the F note there. Come back to the 12th fret, then the 13th fret on the second string, and then to the back to the key note here, the D on the top string, 10th fret. So that's a little bit of vibrato there on that last note. When you're bending this note, try and use other fingers on the same string to give your pinky a little bit of support. And that will give you good control. And again, practice it slowly. So you can hear each separate note like that, and then there's you'll be playing with good quality when you get it up to speed. Okay. Then, after repeating the first line, then we move up a position, so our little fingers now align with the 15th fret, and we play that note there, again with a full tone bend, so we're aiming for that note, then back to neutral at the same fret number on the same string, so that's. Then we come right the way down to the 12th fret, which will be under our first finger, then on the second string, 13th fret, and then back again to our key note, 10th fret on the top string. So our first four lines are. We then repeat the first two parts again. But then on the second part of the last bit, we're going to modify the very last note to sound like this. And notice that this time, this note is a half tone bend. We're bending it from C to C sharp. So that final note bend from C to C sharp signifies a key change. As we come out of the intro into the main part of the verse, the key shifts from D minor to E major, and that's emphasising that. It's a very clever little bit of songwriting. Okay. So here's the whole thing now played at slow speed. After 3, 1, 2, 3. At something like normal speed, I'm going to count a bar and 3/4 in on this. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 to give us a bit of a lead into it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. There we go. So I hope you've enjoyed that one, and I look forward to seeing you again in our next lesson.